Cowabunga, dudes! Hello, welcome to the Event 101. These are going to be a little bit trickier to kind of do because it seems like it's the same thing over and over and over again, but like little different colors, paces there. And this is take 2, by the way. Not part 2, take 2. As in, this is my second time doing something like this. And you might be wondering what happened to the first one. Well, about that. Yeah, as you can hear, I must have been tired or something like that because I felt so alive, if that makes sense. So I wanted to say, you know what, you deserve better. Let me go ahead and try to do this again. I'm a little bit more thinking properly, so I'm able to kind of talk a little bit more better, hopefully. But anyways, so first things first, you need to know about the event. In order to play it, you need to unlock the promenade here, which is about level 5. It's easy to get to, so it's, by now you should get to this. When you do, these things will pop up, and then you can continue. So, here's what you need to know. First things first. The bottom tier here, the free pass, means that when you're playing through this game, you get all the stuff, and the top tier I'll talk about in a moment. But the main name of the game for here is this progression bar by filling it up. And you get out to 33, and in order to get it, you need this. This is ghost magnifying glasses. I don't know what the name of them are. They're just the event currency, because they don't like to tell me anything, sadly. But yeah. So in order to get these things, there's a bunch of stuff you can do. First, certain characters can have task lines to get certain things that you need. The other way is to sell it to Seder down here. These items are a lot, and they can give you, basically the more higher they are, the more better they will give you. So this is probably the best way to kind of do it. If you do invest into this game, there are better ways, you'll get characters to drop certain items, which will help you progress further down the road. So with that in mind, so you got that kind of going on here. The raw currency this time around is the life belt. I know, very odd. This building here, the Coast Guard House, will give you one every 7 hours. But the thing is, you'll probably get them through the means of other characters dropping them, and then process of elimination with the new event supplier. In this case, it's the beach tower, which will give you one every 3.5 hours. Now, as you can see, you can buy some for $40, but do not buy these. They are not worth it because you'll be getting lots of them, and there are lots of ways of getting them. If you want to buy them just to kind of have like a little sections of them, then okay, go ahead. But honestly, you'll be getting a whole lot of them. If you're buying into this game, you'll get a whole lot of them, so you will have more than enough to kind of play around with, in my opinion. But to each their own. Now we got that out of the way, let's talk about some of the characters that are featured. So we have our typical characters we've known: Dustin, Lucy, Mortman, Mrs. Marr, Mrs. Dark, and what's her name? Oh God, I have to go over there to find Sharon. That's it, Sharon. And Sharon's also the other character that's featured, and Marty, of course. So these characters are usually there level 5, tend to be the ones that you kind of have progressions for, or have stuff to do. So for example, for prepare for the beach, Marty will have that, but he will also have something here with his so muscles, which will give you some skeleton keys. All right. Do I have them? Okay, good. I have them on there. The thing is, though, as you'll notice, some quests are locked behind paywalls. So unless the items down here, which most likely are going to be from Lucy and Dustin, who will probably be more than featured to have things to do. So these are the characters that will have free animations, is Lucy and Dustin. Everyone else, you have to buy in. Now, the thing is, the buying into this stuff here. If you buy all 3 of these packs, the Ghost Beach Part 1 pass, the Sandy Afternoon or After Spook, and Summer Experiments, you will get the Seder Mansion House, which is this scene down here. Except it will have its own different versions, and it might have a character featured in there and drop something else entirely. It's been like the last 2 updates. It's been like that. It's an extra feature. It's a bonus if you want to have the scene at the end of the event. This is the way to do it. Now, would you want to do it? That's your question, but it's not needed. It's just a nice little thing to have extra of. But it's not really worth it if you are not going to buy into everything. And the thing is, too, if you are buying, I do advise you to hold off during the weekends. I will try to post when I can, but every weekend or every week or so, there's usually deals that kind of go on. And when these deals go through, they will lower the price by either half, usually half off. So for me, for now, it's $6.49, but that can go down all the way to $3. And that's usually the best bet to kind of get these. So again, if you're in that area, that's probably the best way to kind of do is hold off and then buy them when you can. Kind of helps with the progression, in my opinion. But if you need to buy anything, I would advise you to get the Ghost Pass or the Ghost Beach Part 1 Pass. And the reason why, or for the Monster Pass, is for a few reasons. Number one, on top of here, when it says unlock the locked monster reward for Monster Pass there, that will open up a feature which will allow you to pay 50 Goosebucks to move to another progression. So if you're near the tail end, you can just buy in and finish everything off here. But if you play through this properly, you should be able to get through this fine. And honestly, there's been a whole lot of updates that you're pretty much going to be okay with this anyway, so don't worry about that. What I will say, though, is that for the most part, this feature and stuff seems to be pretty alright and explanatory. Like, it gives you some extra stuff here. But the real important reason why you would want to buy the Monster Pass is because this is the only way to get this. The Sadler Guest Home, which is housing our main new character, Terry, Terry Sadler. So, to get her, you need to get this here. And there you go with that kind of thing of that nature. Now, one thing to note, though, is the crafting area, the shovels, and the buried bones are not needed to craft the ectoplasm sunscreen and the holy water. These items are not needed, but everything else is. And what's weird is the holy water will be harder because this time around you need the ectoplasm sunscreen. So you need this here, which has the 3 items, to get this here. So again, it's a little bit more harder this time around. So at least I'll give them the credit that they kind of made it a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit different than before, but as a result, 2 items are basically useless this time around. And that said more. The one thing too, by the way, this is the first time we have a part 1 versus a part 2. So there's no reason, like, I have no idea how it's going to go with part 2. I feel like it's its own separate thing. So characters like Terry here may not be helpful for the next update. It sounds stupid, I know, but I think they're doing this as a way to kind of have it be its self-story. I think it's hard to say. This is the first time they've done this, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But for the most part, you get the gist of this here. Now then, there are 2 characters that will drop, or 2 characters that will give you the ectoplasm sunscreen, and the other one will give you holy water. Now, in order to do this, you need to buy the Sandy After Spook, and the other one you need to buy the Summer Experiments, because they have an item here that will only unlock for the other one to play around with. And that in question is the Rusty Boat and the Inflatable Dragon. And this question is, if you go to Mr. Mortman, this time around, believe it or not, Mr. Mortman this time, or no, I'm sorry, that's Mrs. Marr. That's my bad. Mrs. Marr can go over there. Nah, here's Mr. Mortman. Mr. Mortman, as you can see, drops the holy water bottles by having an animation called Fixing the Boat. So, This will give you an animation, plus it will give you the water bottles every 8 hours, plus 250 of the points, which is very helpful. So for now, though, he'll be useful for this type of thing here. Now, something to note is that the only character that won't be able to help you thus first is Lucy. Lucy has tasks to do, but you need one of these items in order to begin with. One of them being the search for clues, which is useless, by the way, is like near the tail end of this. So really, I don't know why they give you that. That's kind of pathetic. The other items are fine, but you know, search for clues, I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. It's their game. They do whatever they want. Not my fault, but it's whatever. Something else I would keep a note of too. There's also this here, the peer pressure. These are just item decorations. They probably might go on sale at some point too, but they're just there to kind of give you some points and whatnot. I'm assuming this is probably the bundle pack that would have been sold later at the end of the week, as it kind of tends to do. But that might just be me. They might be just doing this right now, so just keep in mind. These packs will end before the event ends, so just keep this in mind. So if you don't get them by the end of the event, then you're kind of screwed. Because it's like a few more days ahead. Yeah, 2 days ahead of this stuff. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, as far as characters that are pretty much progressive, they will not pop up unless you buy into the game. If you buy into the feature or any of the packs, then you'll find the characters will pop up. Like for example, Florence over here, Save the Turtle, kind of gives you an item there. So again, they'll pop up and show you like, oh, the character needs to do something. Like for example, for Dustin, like if I go over here, oh, he doesn't do it because he's broken right now. But you know, that's because he has another item in question. But if I were to go to Mrs. Dark, is probably a better example. Sorry, wrong one. I have to go all the way down here. Yeah, see how she's highlighted here? It kind of tells you this is like a character can do something. So just keep in mind, that's it there. So yeah, just quickly checking in here. So Dustin, Mr. Mortman, Marty, Mrs. Marr, Mrs. Dark, and Jill are like the characters that can help you. Lucy can, but she needs an item. Eric can actually help you, but he needs an item. That particular is the Doc, so he actually gives you a better item compared to Lucy, so there's that. The other character, the premium characters though, is Sharon, Mr. Wood, that requires an item. Curly requires an item. Professor Shock requires an item. Well, Blake requires an item. So these are just characters that can help you, but do require something in order to help out. Yeah. So now you got a good idea. But the other character that can help you, that as Erasmo puts it, Slappy's wife. Sorry, I don't want to think of it like that, but yeah, she actually drops you points because she's broken, like before. So just keep that in mind. She has the green mucus vomit and bad clown does drop you a lot more. So if you do have Jillian, she's probably a best bet to kind of help you with that. But yeah, just figure I'd just share that with you. So yeah, for the most part, these are self-explanatory. So that should help you as far as what to get some stuff there goes. Something else to keep in mind too is to get the items, you can craft them for here, or you can click on the pier, which is right here. And the reason I know this is because this is what it's called, the pier right here. So in order to collect the items once they're done, you have to click on the pier in order for this to succeed. When it does, it'll count it, and then you can move on from there. But you can click on this to get to here, or you can go to here and click on this to get to where you need to get to. So just keep in mind that's just what the whole premise of this is. So you get that kind of going on there. So that's roughly it for now as far as this kind of goes. I do apologize you're hearing my girl Millie crying right now. Currently, someone left a bit and she's now sad. I kind of have her in my room so that she's not lonely. But yeah, anyways, yeah. So if you're hearing the noises, that's why. So don't worry about that. I'll talk to her in a minute. I'm trying to think what else is there. Oh yeah, there's this. So these, by the way, these are just items that, like, if you want to get these, you can, but they're not really needed. Like, for example, the beach tower here, you will get lots of this, so you don't need to get yourself to craft or worry about it. And then the other two are most likely cash. So yeah, this kind of letting you know that's usually what we're kind of looking at here. So that kind of shows you off from there. I do not know if there's another crafting thing after the event ends. They usually tend to, but I don't know this time around because things have changed, as you know. So there's that. But yeah, there's not a whole lot as far as, like, again, this is why these are kind of getting harder, because they're kind of hard to explain things, and I think I got most, if not everything, kind of down and talked about, so it's kind of self-explanatory. In order to get the holy water, you can craft it, or you can do the Sailor main house here, and this actually drops us, I think it's 80% of a chance to do this, and it's for every 8 hours, which summons that. But there you go. Now then, as far as when this is going to end, which is going to be very difficult, because this is going to be weird. It's going to end Thursday, October 3rd, 2024, at exactly 10:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, why exactly 10:13 though? I think it's because they ended up starting this off at 10:13. So that caused the game to kind of count down. Like, it must have said 30 days from now, and then when it starts, that's when it's counting down. So I think that's how they set these up. So yeah, that's probably why the weird number thing. They try to do it by the hour, but yeah, things happen. It releases when it releases, right? But yeah, there you go. So you got that there. So you have a better understanding there. So that's it. Hopefully hopefully this helps you out. And again, these are going to get difficult to kind of keep on going with, but you get a good idea. Most of these are easy and explanatory. The other thing too is you'll get points by just completing the quest line. So the best bet is just to follow the quest line, and you'll just get there just fine. The first few quests will be easy. It will get a little bit longer and harder if you don't buy into it. If you don't buy into this stuff, it is possible to do, especially because it gives you a lot of time if you start right away. But it is something to keep in mind. So yeah, like I said, the gold pass is usually the best bet to get all the worth your buck. Everything else is just extra features if you want to have, like decorations as well as characters, animations. So there you go. Anyways, that's it for now. I've been Grim, and I will be seeing you for more episodes for the Ghost Beach Part 1. Until then, I am going to comfort my baby because she's crying I'm sorry very much. Give me a moment. Goodbye.